Friday. I'm going to be going live today, and I'm just going to be talking about growing your bookkeeping business, starting your bookkeeping business. Let's just talk about whatever you want. So, my name is Zach Pasquarello. If we haven't had the chance to meet yet, I started my bookkeeping business 5 years ago, and now I just make these YouTube videos because I just love talking about my bookkeeping business. So, I'm going to be going live hopefully every Friday. We'll see what happens. I know I was a couple minutes late today, so I appreciate everybody sticking around for me to join. I'm going to try to go live every Friday, and I'm just going to be talking about starting a bookkeeping business. I'm going to be answering your questions, whatever you want to talk about. Bookkeeping fundamentals, debits and credits. If y'all want to nerd out and talk about accounting concepts and bookkeeping fundamentals, I'm here for it. If you want to talk about QuickBooks Online, if you haven't noticed already, QuickBooks is constantly changing their user experience. They just totally revamped their whole website. So if you want to talk about navigating QuickBooks Online, marketing and sales, I know a lot of people struggle. Marketing and sales, social media, website, Google My Business, all those things. I grew my business to 80 bookkeeping clients, and I'm doing everything myself. So I've got a ton of experience doing the bookkeeping and also growing my bookkeeping business. So if you want to talk about social media marketing, sales, quoting, onboarding customers, client service, community, customer service, delivering high quality customer service, cleanup projects, whatever you want to talk about. The best way to ask a question is the chat. So you already see some people asking questions in the chat right there. I'm going to do my best to go through everybody's questions. And so right now is month end close for me in my bookkeeping business. So I'm probably going to cut this video short. So I'm probably only going to be live for 30 minutes. I'm going to try to do an hour next Friday, but today is probably just going to be 30 minutes. So this video, I would love for this video to be more geared around how to grow a bookkeeping business, not necessarily how to start a bookkeeping business. But at the same time, I'm just going to answer your questions. So you, the audience, my viewers, my YouTube subscribers, I'm just doing this for you. So whatever questions you have, that's where the conversation's going to go. But if you could try to focus on how to grow your bookkeeping business, not just necessarily how to start. Okay. Let's see. If you guys can hear me or if you can see me, let me know in the chat. I was a little bit late, so I just want to make sure that you can definitely hear me. You can definitely see me. So let me know. And also you can see in the ticker at the bottom, this video is sponsored by my investment fund. I'm going to get to everybody's comments, everybody's chat, but I just have to mention this video is sponsored by my investment fund, Zip Capital. If you want to earn 8% up to 12% fixed returns, consider investing into Zip Capital. But now let's get to the questions. Let's get to why everybody is here. Let's see. First question. Can't see it. Johnny, when I DM people on Facebook, the majority reply, "What's your pricing?" immediately. How do you reply to that? So I would normally say, I can't give you an exact quote, but what I can tell you is that my clients on average pay anywhere from $300 to $3,000 per month. I'd imagine you'll probably be somewhere in the middle there, but I can't give you an exact quote, but I can. All you need to do is send me your 3 most recent bank statements, or you could invite me to your QuickBooks and I will give you a quote within 24 hours. So it can be a super fast process. If you want a quote, I can give you one, but if not, I can tell you a rough ballpark. 300 to 3,000. Maybe you could even say something like, my clients on average pay $600 per month, but you could be less, you could be more. It totally depends on the size and complexity of your business. So you can't give somebody a quote right away, but yeah, I get it. Sometimes people, they just want a fast answer. So, okay, Steele, for engaging with clients on Facebook, is there such a thing as too much engagement? My current system has me commenting on a business owner's post 4 to 5 times before I send them a message. So this question comes up a lot. So when it comes to engaging with clients on Facebook, I don't really have an exact scientific process for engaging with clients. Like, I am not sitting there counting how many times I engage with people. For me, it's much more of a natural process. So I just open up my Facebook and I will just scroll through my news feed. So I'm not specifically targeting specific business owners. It's not that strategic whenever I engage with people. But instead, I just scroll through my news feed and I just comment on the first 10 posts that I see that are somewhat relevant to something that I could comment on. So I'm not strategically going to every single business and like actually commenting on specific posts. I'm just scrolling through my news feed as it pops up, comment on 10 people's posts. I'm spending much more time trying to create high quality marketing content. Engaging with people is the last thing that I do. So I spend the majority of my time trying to create high quality engaging content, and then I'll spend a lot of time connecting with people, like sending friend requests, and then I'll spend a lot of time sending DMs. And then the last thing that, and this is kind of in order of importance. So creating content first, actually friend requesting prospective clients second, sending them a DM is third, and then engaging with people is fourth on my list of priorities. So that's the last thing that I do. So yeah, there's not really, so is there such a thing as too much engagement? Maybe, but I don't look at it like that. Like, I don't look at it strategically like, should I do it 6 times or 7 times, 4 times or 8 times? I'm just going with the flow. Like, I just let the algorithm feed me posts. And then as those posts come up, I comment on them. Like, super natural, like very natural. Like, I don't try to like, I don't want things to feel forced and unauthentic. I want things to feel real and genuine, like, because I'm trying to build real relationships. What's the best approach to talking to people in the DM on LinkedIn? When you have been posting daily, but your reach isn't going anywhere, so you aren't sure if they've seen your content. So there's one of two things that I say. I say, hey, I'm a bookkeeper. Let me know if you ever need help with your QuickBooks. And the other thing that I say is, hey, I'm a bookkeeper. I'm trying to grow my business. If you know anybody who you think might need help with their QuickBooks, I would really appreciate an introduction so that I might be able to help them with their business and their bookkeeping. So that's really the only two DM approaches that I take. And listen, my sales tactics and marketing strategy are far from perfect. This is just simply what I've done with my business and my social media. So whatever I say, it's not the end all be all. My advice is not the only way to do things. I'm just telling you what I've done. So that's my sales tactic. That's my sales pitch. Might not be for everybody, certainly not perfect, but it has worked in the past. Mike Andrews, if I'm just starting out, is it okay to start clients off with single entry bookkeeping, or do you basically have to use double entry all the time in order to create the necessary financial reports? So, Mike, don't worry about the technicalities behind double entry accounting, because QuickBooks Online handles all of that for you. So, there really is, from what I understand, like, you can't have single entry. Single entry is not a thing. It has to be double entry. Like, there's always a debit and a credit for every accounting transaction. There has to be a debit and a credit. It's all double entry. But don't worry about that, because as you record expenses and invoices and sales receipts and bank deposits and checks and journal entries in QuickBooks, it kind of manually does the double entry thing for you. So QuickBooks is super user friendly. So I definitely recommend, you want to understand debits and credits. Don't get me wrong. You have to understand debits and credits. You have to understand basic bookkeeping fundamentals and accounting concepts. But as far as journal entries and like double entry accounting, once you start using QuickBooks and the QuickBooks bank feed and recording expenses and income, it handles all that for you. Fresh, you said, started my accounting firm, non-audit firm. How can I grow it? There are a lot of different options for how you can grow it. So if you have, so the best way to get the best information out of this live chat is for you to ask super specific questions. So fresh, I will answer your question, but if you could try to ask some more specific questions, because that's a little bit too vague for me to answer right now. Coastal Pink, for payments received / deposited at the end of the month, how do you balance the books when the bank posts them on the next month? Do you still record them in the month received or the date that the bank posts? So if your client is cash basis, then they would record their income on the day that they receive the cash. So there's something called undeposited funds. So if you receive a check on August 31st, you would put that money, you would record that income on August 31st, but you would put it into an undeposited funds account. And then you deposit the check. And then September 1st was Labor Day. So that check probably won't clear the bank until September 2nd. So the income is recognized on October 31st when you receive the money, but then it's recorded in the bank on September 2nd. So it looks like this. It looks like debit undeposited funds, credit income on August 31st. And then September 2nd, whenever you receive the money in the bank account, you're debiting the bank account, crediting undeposited funds. So undeposited funds is just this temporary holding account that you debit whenever you receive the money, but then you credit whenever you receive the money into the bank account. So it's a debit and a credit, it's offsetting. So your undeposited funds should never carry a balance for much more than 2 or 3 days because it's just a limbo holding account while you're waiting for the checks to clear the bank. My healthy lifestyle journey. Hi, good morning, everyone. Hello. Mike Andrews. Let's see. Sandra Alvarez. Hi, Zach. Thank you for doing these videos. Super informational and motivating. Have them on all day, even during my regular job hours to stay motivated. That's what it's all about. That's a big reason why I make these videos. My hope is that I motivate you and inspire you. I really don't make, honestly, truthfully, I have a course for sale. You don't have to buy it. Like, I'm really not making a ton of money on YouTube ad revenue or digital downloads or monthly meetings. I make a few $1,000s per month, but from a percentage perspective, about 10% of my income comes from the education portion of my business. It's nice that I make some money doing it, but more so, I love talking about this stuff. I just really love, hopefully my passion is obvious. Like, I just love talking about this stuff. So Sandra, I really appreciate you saying that because that's really truthfully my goal. So yes, I am making money, but also at the same time, I really do genuinely enjoy educating, motivating, and inspiring you. So Sandra, really, really truthfully appreciate you saying that. And I do hope that these videos are helpful. These videos are for you. So whatever questions you all have, the more questions you all ask, the more likely I will stick around for more than 30 minutes. So if you guys keep asking more questions, keep making comments in the chat. And the thing is, so I host a weekly meeting on Monday at 3 p.m. It's more of like a private, intimate, closer group of people. It's you have to pay for it. It's $49 a month, but it's like a private group, and we meet on Monday at 3 p.m. And I always tell my group members this: if you have a question, if you're wondering something, chances are there's somebody else who's wondering the same thing. So if something pops in your mind, like, oh, I kind of want to learn more about this, or I'm kind of curious about that, just drop it in the chat. I'm sure if you have a question about something, I guarantee you somebody else watching this video is probably wondering the same thing. Lamb, sorry, I probably mispronounced your name. I really apologize, but thank you for all that you have done. I'm still wondering if you are still have to ask for bank statement even when bank is linked to QuickBooks Online. Yes, you need the bank statement. You need the credit card statement so that you can reconcile the accounts. So to categorize transactions on a daily, weekly basis, no, you don't need the bank statement. But to reconcile the accounts, yes, you need the bank statement and you need to reconcile the accounts. So think about this. Compare it to a test. We all went to high school. We all took tests, multiple choice tests in high school. So you've got a test and an answer key. So QuickBooks is the test. So you're filling out answers in QuickBooks, you're recording transactions in QuickBooks, and you hope, you do your best, you hope everything's right, but you don't know. So you need the answer key, you need the bank statement, and then you're literally going line by line. QuickBooks makes it pretty simple to reconcile, but you're literally going line by line and checking each transaction to make sure that it matches what's in the bank statement. So think about it like that. So you need the answer key to grade the test. You need the bank statement to reconcile the QuickBooks. Let's see. Benjamin Hicks. Which social media platform do you find the majority of your clients? Facebook. Facebook. Absolutely Facebook. But for promoting Zip Capital, it's a little bit different because Zip Capital, I'm going after CEO. I'm going after directors, C-suite executives, VPs of companies. So for LinkedIn or for Zip Capital, I'm actually finding the majority of my investors on LinkedIn. So it is different. Every industry is different. If you're selling products, you're probably on Instagram. If you're selling local business to business services, Facebook is amazing. If you're trying to connect with W2 employees, professionals, LinkedIn is a great place. I think they're all three good, but I found the majority of my bookkeeping clients on Facebook. What do you typically say? Is it a DM or do they reach out because of a post? It's a little bit of both. So in the beginning, I got my first couple clients by reaching out to them because nobody knows who you are. You don't have too many followers. In the beginning, if you want to pour gasoline on the growth of your company, you're going to do it by sending direct messages, sales, cold outreach. That's how you're going to pour gasoline on your business in the beginning to get things going. You need a starter. You need something to ignite the fire. Literally, you need something to ignite the fire. So send sales, outbound, cold outreach, DMs, cold calls, like that's how you're going to grow your business in the beginning. But then you also want to do everything at the same time. So you want to create content, you want to do marketing, you want to advertise, and at the same time, you want to do outreach, outbound. You want to do send DMs because the DMs are going to quickly help you grow, but the marketing and the advertising, that's going to help you long term exponentially grow because you can only do so many DMs per day. But as you create content, in the beginning, 10 people might see your posts. And then halfway through, 100 people see it. And now 500 people see it. And then 1,000 people see it. So you can go from 10 to 1,000 in 2 or 3 years. And so now all of a sudden, you're getting 100 times the exposure. There's no way you could 100x your outbound by yourself. So sales to get started, advertising and marketing to grow slowly, exponentially over time. Zach, I am on board one client with 4 businesses today. How much should I charge? My healthy lifestyle journey, I keep it super simple. $3 per transaction per month on average. So I charge a fixed rate. So if I were you, I would look at their June, July, August bank statements and credit card statements. Count all the transactions from the past 3 months. And that's my quote. Divide by 3 to get the average number of monthly transactions and then multiply it by $3 per transaction. That's how I quote. I've looked at their taxes, their expenses and income, Excel reports, but no bank statements. They don't have much transactions. One has payroll for 4 people and 1099s. So I do a minimum of $200 per month. So even if they have 15 transactions per month, I'm not going to charge them $45 per month for bookkeeping. That's ridiculous. So $200 bare minimum for bookkeeping, no matter what. And then as they have, as their business grows, once they have more than 70 transactions, then I'll go to that transactions times 3 model for quoting. Globetrotter, I have package tiers on my website. Are you saying that's not best practice? My minimum package starts at $750 per month. That sounds pretty expensive. It all depends on where you live. If you live in Los Angeles or New York City, then of course you're gonna charge more. I live in South Central Pennsylvania, which is not in the middle of a major city. So my cost of living is much lower. The expenses are much lower. The cost of service is much lower where I am, or if you're in Georgia or Alabama or Texas, not in a city, it's going to be a lot cheaper. But if you live in New York City or Los Angeles or Chicago, of course, it's going to be a lot more expensive. So I have 3 tiers on my website as well. I have like a simple start, essentials, and advanced bookkeeping package. Those are more so just anchors to kind of let people know what to expect. So I actually quote based on number of transactions, but I do have those prices on my website simply because for me as a customer, whenever I go to somebody's website, I want to see price. Like it just bothers me when I go to somebody's website and they don't have their prices readily available. So I chose to have prices on my website because I just really like to see that as a customer. It just makes me happy. So I put prices on my website just as an anchor, just as a general ballpark. $750 a month sounds too expensive. And here's why, especially when you're getting started. I would recommend just try to get 10 clients first, because I've got a couple clients who pay me $300 per month and they're amazing. It's just a solo entrepreneur, owner operator, no subcontractors. He just puts gas in his car, goes to Home Depot, and he builds decks, or he does, he builds roofs. And so his bookkeeping is the simplest bookkeeping ever. It takes me an hour a month and I make $300. So by you pricing your package at 750 a month for a minimum, you're going to potentially miss out on some really good clients who would pay you 250, 300 or $400 per month. So I would recommend I would probably start your cheapest package at $300 per month, with the understanding that whenever you get a new client, you're going to quote based on transactions. But I would say your minimum at 300. 750 to me just sounds too much. But keep in mind, I also only do bookkeeping. So I don't do payroll, I don't do taxes. So if you're offering payroll and taxes, then maybe that would justify the 750. But for just bookkeeping, 750 sounds a little bit too much. Let's see what else. Brian Birdsong. Hey, Zach, you mentioned your 5 biggest mistakes as a bookkeeper earlier. What's been a few mistakes you've made with clients that you learned from, made corrections in either your delivery or process? One of the biggest mistakes I did was trying to work with QuickBooks Desktop in the beginning. So I was excited to get clients. So somebody called me, hey, I'm working on QuickBooks Desktop. I said, no problem. I'm a bookkeeper. I know how to use QuickBooks. How hard could it be? So I agreed to work on their QuickBooks Desktop. That was a big mistake. The software is totally different. If I could go back in time, I never would have done that. I would have just stuck with QuickBooks Online. The other thing is going to people's offices. I did that in the beginning. I charged $50 per hour and I went to people's offices, but it made me feel like an employee. The owner of the company would walk past my office and check in on me. I always felt like I had to make sure that I was working really hard because he was paying me $50 an hour. I felt trapped. I felt like he was always checking in on me. I felt like an employee. I had to justify my time. Like I had to fill out a timesheet when I got there, when I left. That felt icky. That felt like I was an employee, and I don't want that. You don't want that. We're not employees. We're business owners. So I work only on QuickBooks Online, and I only work virtually. Even if somebody wanted to meet with me, I say no. Even if like before you hire me, maybe you're a little bit more traditional, a little more old school, you want to meet with me in person, that's fine. We can that's not even I don't I just want to set the expectation right from the beginning. I don't do in-person meetings. It's a huge waste of time. If you're trying to start a bookkeeping business, at least in my opinion, I was still working my full-time job. I had kids, I had a family. I didn't have time to meet for a 2-hour dinner or meet for coffee for an hour with a potential bookkeeping client. And also, I wanted to set the expectation right from the beginning. Nothing in person, nothing, absolutely nothing in person. If you want to meet like this, if you want to do a Zoom call or a Google Meet, sure, I'll show you my face. We can talk like this through the computer, but it's such a waste of time to meet in person. So for me, my time was very protected, very valuable. I was very strict with my time because full-time job, kids, family, growing a business, I didn't have time to waste 2 hours on a meeting. So I do strictly everything in virtual over the computer. I can do all of your bookkeeping from the comfort of my own home. There's absolutely no reason for us to meet in person. Let's see, what else? What else? Do you have a Google listing? I paid a friend to make me a website and post to Google, but Google flagged it like spam. Yes, I had it's called a Google My Business profile. And yes, I do have a Google My Business profile. Definitely recommend you have one too, because most people go to Google to find local services. And I have almost 200 5-star Google reviews. So definitely recommend get a Google My Business profile and try to get Google reviews. DFOS. You said, hi, Zach, could you explain what should be included in the contract you give to a new client? DFOS, I have a client agreement for sale on my website. Check it out. There should be a link in the description, harrisburgbookkeeping.com/store, and you can buy my client agreement. So definitely recommend check that out. It's literally the client agreement that I use right now. No name. Does your course go in depth on Learn the Basics of Accounting and Bookkeeping? Yes. Thank you for asking. My course covers 4 or 5 things. It covers cleanup projects, it covers bookkeeping fundamentals, QuickBooks online tutorials, sales, marketing, and actually onboarding and delivering customer service. Hi, Zach. Does QuickBooks Simple Start handle 1099s? Yes. QuickBooks can electronically file 1099s for your customers. They charge $4 per 1099 to electronically file them to the IRS, and they will email and mail copies to your vendors and contractors. That's how I process all of my 1099s for my clients using QuickBooks Online. I charge $15 per 1099 to process them. So QuickBooks charges 4 and I charge 15 on top of the 4. So they use their own credit card to pay QuickBooks to e-file their 1099s, and I charge $15 per to process them. You're not going to get rich filing 1099s. It's kind of a necessary thing for bookkeepers to do. So just to get a little bit of extra money, and I just don't want to give any free handouts. So I don't want to do a ton of extra things for free. So I will do your 1099s. They're a huge pain in the butt. CPAs don't, nobody wants to do 1099s. CPAs don't want to do them. Bookkeepers don't want to do them. I will do them, but I'm going to charge $15 per 1099 to do them. Steve, I'm currently in college, getting a bachelor's in accounting, still trying to figure out what would make more money, being a bookkeeper or tax accountant independently, of course. So Steve, you can make a ton of money doing both. That's a big mistake that I made. I thought I had to become a CPA to make a lot of money. It's not true. Steve, let me just tell you, you can make $40,000 a month just doing bookkeeping. 80 clients, $500 per month, $40,000 per month, or you can make $500,000 doing taxes. Don't do something just because you're going to make a lot of money doing it. So if you really like your tax classes, then maybe consider doing taxes. But if you bookkeeping is a lot like putting a puzzle together. So me, I love doing puzzles. And so that's what we're doing. We're problem solving, we're putting together puzzles. There's no greater feeling as a bookkeeper than getting a finished, clean, updated, accurate financial report. That gives me a lot of satisfaction. That gives me a lot of joy, a lot of purpose. I really enjoy creating updated and accurate financial reports. And so I really like bookkeeping because we get to categorize transactions. We get to put the puzzle together, and then we see the finished project, the finished product, and it's very fulfilling. It's very satisfying. So if you like the idea of doing puzzles and problem solving and just doing bookkeeping, that's totally fine. You can make a ton of money just doing bookkeeping. If you really like tax, tax law, tax strategy, tax filing, if that gets you excited, then do taxes. If you're not sure, start with bookkeeping, and then you can always move up to doing taxes if you want. But if you want to do taxes, you don't need to be, but definitely recommend either become an enrolled agent or a CPA if you want to do taxes. Bookkeeping is great too. You can make a ton of money just doing bookkeeping. Okay, let's see. Globetrotter, would you be able to do future videos of tutorials in QuickBooks of the basics we need to do for onboarding and basic bookkeeping tasks? So I have a ton of videos on my channel already. They're all in a playlist called QuickBooks Tutorials. So check that out. I have a lot of QuickBooks tutorials out there already. Janine, reconciled to make sure there are no missing or duplicates. Exactly. You have to reconcile every account. I'm at the 30-day mark. Jeff, I'm at the 30-day mark. So since I started adding business owners, so I'm about to start sending DMs. Any advice on what to say? Jeff, just be authentic. Don't be annoying. Don't waste people's time. There's nothing that frustrates me more than people say, hey, Zach, can we grab coffee? I'd love to see how we could collaborate. Hey, Zach, how's it going? Love to see the new updates. How's blah, blah, blah going? Like, don't beat around the bush. Don't waste my time. Business owners are busy. They don't want to have small talk. Just cut to the chase. At least that's my opinion. That's what I prefer. That's why I'm very straightforward. My sales and marketing tactics are a direct reflection of my company and how I operate. So I am transparent, honest, and direct. That's how I operate my bookkeeping business. That's how I operate my sales and marketing. Direct, upfront, transparent, honest, no BS. I'm just going to say it to you straight. Hey, I'm a bookkeeper. Let me know if you ever need help with your QuickBooks. Thanks. Have a great day. That's really it. Honestly, that's what I did for the past 5 years. Like I said, not perfect, but it was good enough for me. Mike, in another video, you mentioned that if you had to do it all over again, you would have niched your business sooner. Do you recommend people niche in terms of industry from the beginning? No. Mike, get 10 or 15 clients first. Just take 10 clients and then you'll slowly fall into a niche by accident. It'll just happen naturally. That's the best way to do it. Just let it happen naturally. Don't rush into things because I would hate for you to pick a niche right now. Like, I'm only going to work with restaurants. And then who knows? Maybe you love working with truckers, but you never got the opportunity. So, right now, just get your first 10 clients and then you can get a niche after that. All right, everybody. I hate to do this. I hate to do this. I'm going to answer one more question. So I'm going to answer one more question and then it's month end close. I really have to go. I got to finish my bookkeeping for today for Harrisburg Bookkeeping. So I'm going to cut today's meeting short, but every other Friday that's not month end close will hopefully be a little bit longer. So this video, one last question, one more thing before I say that, check out all the links in the description. This video is sponsored by Zip Capital. If you are an accredited investor and you want to invest into my real estate debt fund, I'm offering 8 to 12% fixed returns. And if you want a course covering everything A to Z, check out my bookkeeping course down below. It teaches you everything: bookkeeping, QuickBooks, bookkeeping fundamentals, accounting concepts, sales, marketing, customer service, onboarding, cleanup projects, everything. Okay. Steele, last question. In your opinion, what is the difference between being successful and unsuccessful in starting a bookkeeping business without immediate results? How can we know we're on the right track? Steele, this is tough because there's two different parts of starting a bookkeeping business. There's two different things. There's actually doing the bookkeeping, and then there is like sales and marketing. So you're going to very quickly know if you're successful or not sales and marketing. If you go 90 days and don't get a single client, then your marketing strategy is not working. And you need to look at the analytics. You need to look at your posts, look at the data, see, am I posting the same thing over and over again and not seeing better results? If that's the case, then you're doing something wrong. You need to see what's working and what's not working and do more of what's working. You got to be consistent. You're going to fail sales and marketing if you give up. If you never give up and if you're constantly trying to improve, you're going to succeed. But you can never give up. You have to be consistent every day, 5 days a week, and you have to look at the data, look at the analytics, and do more of what's doing well on social media. And when I say well, I mean impressions, views, engagement. Like, look at what's doing well and do more of that. If you do that, you're going to improve as long as you never give up. When it comes to actually bookkeeping, it's hard to know if you're doing the right thing because as a brand new bookkeeper, I was so scared of my first tax season because I was like, I have no idea if I'm doing the right thing. And we're about to file these taxes. And like, I have no idea if what I'm doing is correct or not. All you can do, here's my advice. Do your best. Be honest and have integrity. As long as you genuinely try to do the right thing, you're going to be fine. I see the most bad things happen when you're purposely trying to commit fraud or purposely trying to scam people. If you're doing that, shame on you. That's not right. If you're being dishonest and committing fraud and scamming people, that's unacceptable. But as long as you're genuinely trying to do the right thing, you're probably going to be okay. With that in mind, you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. That's part of the process. We're all human. We make mistakes, but you just have to learn from your mistakes. I've said it for years, and I'll continue to say it. Just don't make the same mistake twice. Make a mistake, be honest, tell your client, hey, so sorry, I made a mistake. Here's how I'm going to fix it. And then don't make the same mistake twice. So that's it, everybody. I hope this was helpful. So sorry for cutting it short. I see a couple comments I didn't get to. Consider joining next Friday. I'll be going live, same place, same time. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks so much.